What's a backyard barbecue without a few fillers, nitrites, and artificial colors or flavors on a bun? Nothing says summer like a good old-fashioned hot dog, but you're probably better off leaving these brands on the grocery store shelf. If you've got your heart set on a hot dog, you're probably not too worried about keeping things 100% healthy.
You know what makes me really sick to my stomach?
What?
It's watching you stuff your face with those hot dogs.
But if you want to avoid the worst of the worst, we've got you covered. First up, Ballpark Prime Uncured Beef Franks, which actually aren't completely bad. They're made with 100% USDA prime beef and have no added nitrates, byproducts, fillers, or artificial flavors or colors, but there are also several ingredients that are far from natural. They're there for flavor, preservation, and texture. Understandable, but their presence also means that these dogs aren't as minimally processed as the label might lead you to believe. What makes these hot dogs uncured is the absence of synthetic nitrites and nitrates, which are commonly used preservatives in traditional hot dogs. Instead, uncured dogs use natural sources of nitrites like celery powder. But whether the nitrites are synthetic or naturally derived, they've been linked to health risks like certain cancers and type 2 diabetes. On top of all that, each Ballpark Frank contains 230 calories and 20 grams of fat, 9 of which are saturated. One dog also has 45 milligrams of cholesterol and a whopping 710 milligrams of sodium. Overall, the absence of certain additives doesn't really make up for these subpar ingredients. Kayem beef and pork hot dogs became the official Fenway Frank in 2009, but even if you're a Red Sox diehard, you should think twice before taking a bite. These dogs contain a bunch of additives, including added sugar and sodium nitrite. We've already mentioned the health risks of nitrites, and while the long-term effects of other additives aren't fully understood, they may still lead to serious health issues. In general, regularly eating overly processed foods like these hot dogs just isn't ideal. Plus, the 5 grams of saturated fat and 430 milligrams of sodium in each serving aren't great either. Though Red Sox fans may love them dearly, their ingredients are scarier than the Green Monster. Gwaltney Original Chicken hot dogs might sound like a healthier choice compared to their beef or pork counterparts, but they come with their own set of concerns. While they are healthier in some ways, like being lower in calories and saturated fat, the quality of their ingredients still raises some red flags. The primary ingredient here is mechanically separated chicken, which is made by forcing chicken through a sieve to separate the meat from the bones, skin, and connective tissue. This process often leaves a lot of fat and tissue behind, though, which can make the final product far less nutritious and a heck of a lot more processed. The result is a texture that's more like a paste, which is common in heavily processed meat products. And that's not all, unfortunately. These hot dogs are also packed with corn syrup and a variety of fillers, including the notorious sodium nitrite. While you might feel like you're being health conscious by choosing chicken dogs, the truth is actually much more, foul. The label of Bar S Classic Franks proudly touts that they have no MSG or artificial flavors or colors, but there's more to the story than that. First off, like the Gwaltney hot dogs, they use mechanically separated chicken. That's much less healthy than ground poultry, which is made from whole muscle parts or deboned meat. And as you might suspect, the ingredients also include various fillers and additives, such as corn syrup, modified cornstarch, and, you guessed it, sodium nitrite. The list goes on with several additives that give away the processed nature. Bar S Classic Franks may be tasty and convenient, but they're far from wholesome. Kirkland beef hot dogs are a favorite among many loyal Costco shoppers for their quality-to-value ratio. They have a few positives going for them, as they don't contain any byproducts, corn syrup, or fillers. Very few of the most popular hot dog brands can say that. But Kirkland dogs still have their own drawbacks. For one thing, the ingredients include sodium nitrite. Is there any way to avoid sodium nitrite if you're a hot dog lover?
What do? Follow my husband around?
Lady, he's putting my kids through college.
On top of that, Kirkland's hot dogs are notably high in saturated fat and sodium. Specifically, each dog has 15 total grams of fat, 6 of which are saturated and 0.5 of which is trans. That's 23% of the daily recommendation for fat and 30% for saturated fat, all in just a single hot dog, and the sodium clocks in at 580 milligrams per serving, or 24% of the daily recommended value. And to think that we had a good thing going, Kirkland. Lightlife Smart Dogs are plant-based, which may give the impression that they're much healthier than traditional hot dogs, but that would be false.
We could work as a team, find out whoever did this and punish him ourselves. Maybe take his bare butt out of his costume and spank him. Maybe you could do it, sir.
Not gonna happen.
As it turns out, Lightlife's lack of meat doesn't equate to uniformly quality ingredients. Instead, these dogs are packed to the brim with processed components. The base includes soy protein isolate, a highly processed form of soy. To enhance flavor and texture, Lightlife uses a variety of other processed ingredients like soybean oil, canola oil, and tapioca starch, which can contribute to inflammation. These smart dogs also contain 2 different sweeteners in the form of raw cane sugar and hardwood smoked sugar. Other additives include xanthan gum, guar gum, and carrageenan, many of which can also cause inflammation and other digestive issues. At the end of the day, if you're trying to find a veggie dog with the highest quality ingredients around, Lightlife smart dogs simply aren't the solution.
I don't have to sit here and be insulted like this.
Empire Uncured Turkey Franks boasts on the label that their birds are free from antibiotics and growth hormones, but that's a little misleading. Growth hormones are banned in American poultry, so that's not really noteworthy. And these boasts don't necessarily translate to high quality either, as Empire uses mechanically separated turkey. That makes for a blend that includes skin and connective tissue with the meat, which isn't exactly the sort of lean turkey that you might hope for. And it doesn't get any better from there. These franks also contain several additives, including our old friend sodium nitrite. As for the nutritional stats, they're nothing to get excited about either, with each dog providing 100 calories, 7 grams of fat, and 410 milligrams of sodium. Who can forget that catchy Oscar Mayer wiener jingle?
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be.
There's pretty much no wiener brand that's more iconic than Oscar Mayer. Unfortunately, though, no amount of fame can erase the fact that these franks contain a bunch of subpar ingredients. The first 2 listed on the label are mechanically separated chicken and turkey, so clearly you're not eating the best parts of the birds. Then there's a laundry list of additives, including corn syrup and our best enemy, sodium nitrite. Despite a promise of no fillers or byproducts, this heavy reliance on additives and sweeteners means these dogs are more processed than you'd probably prefer. From a nutrition standpoint, Oscar Mayer wieners aren't the worst, but they're certainly not the pinnacle of health either. Each serving packs 12 grams of fat, 5 grams of saturated fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, and 380 milligrams of sodium. If you're looking for nostalgia, Oscar Mayer is the way to go. But if you want a high-quality frank, look elsewhere. Dietz & Watson Deli Beef Franks might toot its own horn about using nothing but the highest quality ingredients, but the ingredients tell a different tale. D&W doesn't use high fructose corn syrup or MSG, but these dogs are nevertheless far from clean. After all, the list of additives does include sodium nitrite, which you might have heard of before. There's also a mysterious mention of flavoring. To be clear, it's not even natural flavoring, which would at least be slightly better. And then there are nutrition stats, which won't let your stomach rest any easier. Each serving packs 11 grams of total fat and 4 grams of saturated fat. On top of that, you'll find 25 milligrams of cholesterol and 420 milligrams of sodium per serving. Ultimately, Dietz & Watson's promise of a premium product is more marketing spin than reality. Way back in 1916, Polish immigrant Nathan Handwerker ran a humble hot dog stand in Brooklyn's Coney Island. Fast forward a century, and now Nathan's Famous is an internationally renowned brand. Without a doubt, part of this has to do with the fact that their hot dogs are always made with 100% beef, no fillers or byproducts, no artificial flavors or color, and no corn syrup. That's a good start if you're in the market for high-quality ingredients. But the situation is far from perfect thanks to a long list of additives. One of those additives is sorbitol, which is known to cause digestive issues if consumed in excess. And then there's the same old sodium nitrite, and nothing has changed in the last few minutes, which is to say it's still linked to an increased risk of certain cancers and type 2 diabetes. Nathan's also boasts hydrolyzed corn protein, which may cause allergic reactions and inflammation. No hot dog is going to be perfectly good for you, but it'd be nice if Nathan's Famous, or any brand really, could figure out a way to make them with far fewer additives. Sahlen Smokehouse hot dogs are among the most expensive on this list, but that higher price doesn't translate to higher quality. Indeed, like most of the other dogs we've covered, they're full of additives and fillers. They also contain those mysterious flavorings, leaving hot dog lovers in the dark about what they're actually eating. Other additives include hydrolyzed soy and corn protein, sodium erythorbate, and sodium phosphate, but not sodium nitrite. Actually, we're kidding. They definitely contain sodium nitrite.
Fool me once, strike one. But fool me twice, strike three.
Sahlen's dogs don't shine from a nutritional perspective either. Each serving contains 16 grams of fat, 5 of which are saturated, and a hefty 630 milligrams of sodium. High levels of saturated fat and sodium can contribute to cardiovascular issues if consumed frequently. Overall, despite the premium price, Sahlen's clearly falls short. Hatfield describes its beef franks as farm-to-table, which sounds promising, but the ingredient list begs to differ. The franks are free of MSG, but they're also packed with multiple sweeteners and additives. So something else must have happened on that path from farm to table, right? The sweeteners include corn syrup and sugar, while the additives include the terrifying sodium triumvirate of sodium phosphate, sodium erythorbate, and sodium nitrite. What's more, each dog contains 13 grams of total fat, 5 grams of saturated fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, and 520 milligrams of sodium. These levels are undeniably high, so you'll have to be concerned about potential cardiovascular issues if you're eating these franks on the regular. While Hatfield hot dogs are no doubt delicious, they're also no doubt lacking in the quality and health departments. Hebrew National Beef Franks are famous for being kosher, meaning they adhere to specific Jewish dietary laws. Kosher standards dictate not only which foods can and cannot be eaten, but also how they must be prepared and processed, ensuring a level of cleanliness, quality, and ethical treatment that often suggests higher overall food quality. Unfortunately, kosher doesn't equal perfection.
To me, anything less just wouldn't be kosher.
And that becomes unfortunately clear when you realize that Hebrew National's hot dogs are loaded with so many of the same additives as other dogs. The long list of those highly processed additives includes sodium lactate, hydrolyzed soy protein, sodium erythorbate, and the ever-ambiguous flavoring. And it turns out that sodium nitrite is apparently kosher, but that doesn't change the fact that it's linked to certain cancers and diabetes. The bottom line is, you can eat Hebrew National Franks every single day and still be on good terms with your rabbi, but not with your heart and stomach.